Hello, everybody. This is Victor here from Trend Following Trading for Beginners, and here's my weekly update on my sample trading portfolio coming up next. So overall, I think China and all the importing countries will benefit. And like I said before, if I have the facility, I would just save store. It's very much like washing liquid or toilet paper. People do need it. The country do need it. Either you like it or not. Country need crude oil, and especially those countries that's not self-sufficient, and they have to buy from somewhere from outside. I mean, the cheapest, the long game is the best. So that also benefit the aviation industry, and China has one of the next coming big aviation industry, not just traveling internally, but also traveling externally as the Chinese middle class getting stronger and bigger, so to speak. So it's only fair that Chinese just basically, like all the other importing countries, taking advantage of this low cost event, which doesn't happen often. We'll see how it goes. The other fishy thing that happens is, to me, it's very fishy. Is the UK and EU financial regulator telling the banks don't pay out dividends until the end of October, and don't do any buybacks and stuff. I think this probably will spread around the world. The main thing last time is the back in 2008 when the financial regulator bailed out banks. What happened? The banks, they then sent those money around, and then they paid the CEO big bonuses, and dividends came out, and that pisses many people off. Many people off. So this one though, so sort of like on the surface, it's telling the world that the financial regulator mean business this time. We got to help those banks and services that require money. They don't mind, but they do not want irresponsible activity again. And it might be on the surface, but on the reverse, what have happened to me anyway, I think there might be, it does help the balance sheet of the banks. But on the other hand, what this is actually happening, it might be also indicate that there might be something even bigger, much bigger coming along. And I think that is definitely the case, because I think like 2008, 2009, the bond market is globally up. Some implosion later on, which I'll talk about a bit later on. And I think that the regulators see this coming and basically ask the bank, have a lot more reserve just in case, because they have to already support smaller companies, give out loans. Possibly a lot of them couldn't be repaid, but the government will pay them back 80% or whatever, provided by each financial regulator in each country. But there will be a lot of bad debts coming along, and this cut in dividends. I mean, case in point, especially I'm Hong Kong Chinese, and HSBC is quite big in Hong Kong, and for the older generation, they always buy that for the dividends, because it's quite steady dividends. Not fantastic the last couple of years, but at least it's steady coming out. But this time it's been cut. A lot of people moans about it, and the price basically dropped down a lot. And this basically, doesn't help its credibility. But also, China, HSBC have, I think most likely it seems to Standard Chartered as well. Any banks in Southeast Asia has the same issue. They draw their profits mostly in Asia, and mostly in this case in China. HSBC is exposed a lot, and a lot of bad loans coming out. And I don't think it'll be unwise for them to not to pay dividends. I think they probably have to face a lot more banking issue in Southeast Asia than in Europe. I mean, the bad debt is not just a Chinese thing; it's all around the world now. Especially, I think in America, a lot of them is not going to be able to pay. So a lot of bond defaults happening. So that is what I sort of feel a bit fishy on that one. It sounds like a good idea to not pay out dividends and keep your balance sheet strong for the banks, but the implication of that may be, there's something else. And why is only October? Why is it not for all of this year, maybe next 2 years or something? Why is only just, limited to next 6 months or something, or 9 months? Is that they're going to see something in just this 9 months? A lot of things happening. So second half this year, a lot more problems. I don't know, but just a bit fishy to me. Well, basically that is the update. But over the of course the last couple of weeks, I also say I've done some quarterly review internally, and here's some of my upticks. So from last week, I already talked about the crude oil. So just not going to talk about much about it, but the main thing here now is basically the black swan event. Okay, for me, Asia, the coronavirus is a black swan event, which I talked about already, and it's a great rhino for the rest of the world. Basically, they've seen how China and Japan and South Korea has to handle the virus, so Southeast Asia, and nothing much seems to have scared the Europeans and Americans until it basically landed. The virus landed in Italy in early March, and everything just late February, and everything just got bananas from there. But it just shows how much that the view of the virus compare the West and the East. I think because mostly the SARS that happens in Southeast Asia back in 2003 really scares the Chinese and Southeast Asians, and they have something to prepare for it. But the West of the world, because there are death tolls around the world, but not as much as in Southeast Asia, they didn't take too much view on that, and it's just saying it's very much Asian thing, just like Donald Trump came on saying, blaming everybody else. And fair enough, it's not from US and it's not from Europe, but when things happen, a pandemic happens, it no fronts. It's just going to affect human beings for stop. Blaming is not going to help anyone. And what it also shows a lot of how badly the West is prepared for a pandemic, even though it has a lot better, in my view, on health service around than the Asians. It's just ill prepared. They probably have been prepared better for maybe chemical attack or some sort of dirty bomb nuclear device, because they've been talking about it. But not a pandemic. And just look at how this happened. This year so far. This 2-3 months. Caused worldwide lockdown, because that seems to be working in China and Southeast Asia. And the lockdown causes, of course, the people cannot go to work. So supply chain, basically, because Southeast Asia is more of a manufacturing hub, they couldn't manufacture things, and because it's globalization, one chain lead to another. So a lot of supply just couldn't be manufactured. And then you have, of course, people locking indoors and food scare. They don't have enough food. They panic buy and those kind of things. And now people are coming back out in China, in Asia, hopefully, in general, coming back out to work. But how long does it take for people to slowly ramp back up again? And this is a big question for me. But as far as I'm concerned, the virus things is really a black swan event, and it's exposed how much weakness in the health service. The health service that especially in UK as well, has been cutting, just like police, cutting, and health professionals have been asked to do a lot more with not much support, and many people quit the health profession. I think it's about time for the world, to think of, what happens if we have a pandemic again. Is their own health service ready to take on things? To forget about even coronavirus, just common flu, but bad flu, that happens almost every year. Can they actually cope? Especially, the bigger the country, the worse it gets. Look at America. How can they cope? And the other thing about the virus, it brings out the bad things in us, that we seem to have fighting for resources. And of course, human life doesn't matter if it's Chinese or Americans or Russians or UKs or Europe's or Latin Americans. They are human life, and everybody at the end of the day just try to save themselves, which is fair enough. But then all this about sharing, it's gone out the window. But also expose that all this globalization, you do need some sort of localized manufacturing capabilities. Not all about cost. Otherwise, you have this problem now. Face masks mostly. Okay, M3 one manufacture a third of it in US, but the rest is spread around the world, mostly in Southeast Asia. And it's a private company, so they do its business and they'll find the cheapest cost, but don't seem to have. Of course, this coronavirus is exposed that it has not been able to produce enough just for American market. So Donald Trump invoked a wartime law to say, okay, forcing any company to produce stuff for them for the sake of the country. So in this case, basically, M3 had to send all his stuff back to America as soon as possible to help his health organization, which is fair enough. But also, what shows up is, I mean, some of the face masks that was paid for and destined for German government for the health sector has been confiscated in Bangkok. I don't know why in Bangkok, but it just seems to have gone there, and then shipped to the American. I just thought this, like, it shows up. At the end of the day, it's like every man to himself, and Donald Trump shows that up a lot more. So I think, I mean, on the whole, you step back and look at this. We all need to have some sort of localized manufacturing capabilities. Yes, it costs a lot more than Southeast Asia because it's cheaper manufacturing over there. But in case of crisis, we do need local capabilities to generate stuff. So this is similar to the oil, which America have done pretty well. Last time by 86, 87, they got really caught off guard, so to speak, and it basically now generate a lot more oils internally. It has been doing so for increasing efficiency, better build and all sorts of stuff in America for a long time, and now it's able to supply itself and also become a net exporter as well. So that is the type of things I think people around the world need to start thinking about. The other thing is, this is just like a SARS thing, all right? Traveling. Last time was the air travel spreading, SARS victims around the world. The good thing or bad things about SARS is once you caught it, you're more or less, quite high popular. Is the symptom shows up very quickly, so people can lock you down or track down very quickly, and okay, there's a lot of death due to the SARS virus last time, but this time around, same thing with the traveling. But a lot of people, apparently, from what I read, probably a lot of you have read about it as well, some people just carry the virus around just like a normal flu. So it's very difficult for any authority to stop the virus going around. By the time the virus spread, and so in the news, and each country start lockdown, stopping Asians or Chinese arriving at the doorstep, it's already gone too late because of the travel. And also the other thing is the Chinese New Year. It happens especially now with, it's not just a yearly event that the Chinese go back from the city, back to rural area, back to their own hometown to celebrate Chinese New Year. But the middle class have got a lot more money nowadays. So what do? Instead of going back home every year, some of them choose to go out to another country. And because of this virus, a lot of people actually may be carrying it with very mild, middle or very mild symptoms most likely. And the airport, traveling industry and authority let them through because, it's fine. Nobody says it's SARS or something. So a lot of them, like, even if they have no symptoms of carrying some virus, is traveling around the world and is spreading around the world. And you look at I've been looking at just a map in Europe, the highest death tolls and also the highest detected rate of the SARS, the coronavirus. You see, it's the big cities. The big cities that people travel to, France, Paris, Madrid, Spain, Italy, Rome, those kind of area, and things around those places. And in the U.S., New York City, those kind of places area. It's really where a high level of travel, tourism happens, and of course the Asian travel, and also remember in Asia, not just in China but all around Asia as well. There's a lot more Europeans, Americans, Caucasians, actually working there, and when they travel too, they go home too, and that causes just even spread of the virus a bit more. Nobody knows this virus so infectious, so to speak, and a lot of people carrying it without even knowing it, and just spreading around. And it's basically just shows again when the virus comes, pandemic happens, traveling is another thing that causes issue. The air travel. And this time you got also the cruise ship as well. The other cruise ship about bringing up a memory is how they actually spread the SARS in Hong Kong. There was one incident in the building that lower floor, in Hong Kong there are a lot of high-rise buildings. The lower floor, I think, they were having, outbreak of SARS, and they, blocked the whole floor, and nobody's allowed in and out, treating people locally back in their own home, those kind of things. But then suddenly they spread to the top higher floors as well, and it was quite bad. The whole building basically locked down and stuff. But after the event and people start studying, it's because they found out that the way that some buildings are built are slightly different, but most of all is the toilet system. In the West, they have the U-bend. In UK, you have the U-bend, where you do the toilet bowl and flush out the dirty water. That amount of water that's stuck in the U-bend is helping the air coming out from the common pool, wastewater duct and pipes, the bad air coming back up. In that particular thing in China, Hong Kong, some of those toilet bowl doesn't have a U-bend, and that's how the health authority in Hong Kong think it spread. And this is a similar thing, I think, in cruise ship as well, as a travel industry. If you have one that is inside the either an airplane or in a cruise ship, because the way they share the waste system, the bad air, the dirty air from the waste come out and it just go to spread, and everybody who uses that same system able to quite easily catch it. So that's another thing, not just about traveling. The way that the waste is being looked after is also a key point as well. And I hope the authority around the world, health authority around the world, will start noticing those kind of stuff. But also the other thing that sort of comes up to me anyway is like, I've been saying this before. About the market. The market can go up as well as go down. People just sometimes only have a view of making money when the market's going up. When the market's going down, you should learn how to make money. Okay, so when the market is coming down, you can make money and make a living out of it, maybe more than usual. And I don't quite understand people keep on just saying, I only use trend foreign system, going up, or have a strategy, need to buy, or not buy and hold, but only when the market's going up. You can short the market. I'm sure a lot of people make lots of money when the market's going up, but when the market's going down, when everything's tanking, a lot of people quietly making lots of money. And why can't we do that? That's one thing I want to ask. People think about it, because what this leads down to is something that I think I have tweeted out ages ago. I think now it shows up a lot more because of these coronavirus things. Is if you have more control of your financial income, you have better way to look after yourself. In this case, what happens? You lose your job. You have this virus here. You have a big lockdown around the country, and not just going around the world. And a lot of people, last 2-3 weeks, there's like almost 10 million people, claiming jobless claim and stuff, gone out of work. And in Europe as well, around the world, a lot of people suffer. So if you have some sort of means to make money while the market is down, or doing online, or doing side hustle, so if you lose your main job, at least you got some money here, you can go buy some food, to look after yourself. What this virus shows up is, when everybody goes for a job, and if that meaning comes suddenly shut down, what are you going to do about it? Is the government going to help you? Maybe up to a point. But if you're like America, like the rest of the world now, with so many people out of job, what can they do? And how long does it take for the money to come into your bank account? And how much can they help you? that creates something that really make me think back ages ago when I was promised something, and at work, and then didn't turn up, and then I was kicked a couple of times, and that just make me start to think outside the box. That's why I do trading outside, as well as letting houses, rental to students, those kind of thing. Just try to go outside the box, outside the normal job facility. So people need to start to think about side hustling. What we used to do, I mean, before the manufacturing jobs and big company jobs become a norm, back to our grandparents' time, even our parents' time, a lot of them have some side things going on. Why not? We should continue to do that. And then when your main job comes to a halt, at least you can make some money on the side, able to put some sort of food on the table, and you can continue at a lower level, but at least you're able to continue. So I think this virus basically have taken a lot of that kind of things on the table and showing itself up, and then people should, I think, in my view, just start to think about it. For me here is that's the main thing. Also, what happens is last 2 years or so, or 3, well, almost 4 now, Donald Trump, when he come to the scene, what did he do? I mean, I'm nothing against President Donald Trump, but the way that he brought himself forward into the world stage is very much bullying tactics. Going around the world telling his friends and folks alike, I don't like this, I walk away. I don't like this, I destroy whatever we agree before, torn into pieces and start again. And to me, because I think American got a lot more purchasing power, so there's military power. A lot of other countries, because of the globalization, need America, so it's all bows to the pressure and start working again, with them. But the deals, whatever comes out from Donald Trump, is not that much better anyway, in my view. But then it causes a lot of anxiety between different teams, different countries. It's very much like me. I'm having, let's say, a big business. I'm bullying or I'm pushing my supplier to give me, as low as cost as possible, and then and bullying them and not paying them on time and do all sorts of things. Of course, the supplier would just say, okay, this me being so bad in paying and cause so much trouble, so much issue, they would go out and buy go to another, investigate to start another stream of another client, so to speak, to give them more income, and then when things happen, when I gone down because I'm being so bad before, you think the supplier is going to help you? Then just say, no, I demand this on paper, this on law, this our agreement, give it or I sue you, or I'm going to make you bankrupt. And that is going to happen, and that's what's happening around the world, to me anyway. It's coming from this Saudi Arabia and Russian spat. Basically, it's just this oil production problem is not Donald Trump stuff. I think it's been successive governments been slowly building up a strategic reserve capability in U.S. But it comes to, I think, last 3-4 years, America is more an exporter than an importer of oil. And but basically, you see, Saudi and Russians been doing, or the OPEC Plus been doing its job, but U.S. is not doing its job. So Saudi basically just say, okay, let's kick everybody, let's flood the market, and I think more of that is going to happen. And this problem with the mask that is created by M3 and destined for the German market, but then got confiscated and sent to U.S. Okay, the U.S. need that just like anybody else. So is the German, but German went out and purchased it. And also there's news that because of the scarcity of the health equipment, the masks and clothing example, a lot of them has been bought by a higher bidder, and a lot of them apparently is from America. Fair enough, but then it sort of shows how much each country needs things, and somehow U.S. is always in there somehow, and then it just make people think other countries will start to think, okay, I need to have my local infrastructure. I need to have my local in relationship with maybe other countries, work closer with other countries, and a bit more less with America or a country that is not helping them. Especially in the time of crisis. I think that will probably come, and that's from what I see. So slowly and surely, I think. Sorry to say this, but I think under the leadership of Donald Trump, it shows this up. So other countries will slowly work more closely together, and basically, try to defend themselves against America corporatism, America bullying, or the cowboyish thinking. I hope it never happens, but I mean, it might, because people just think, okay, we need something too, especially now in the time of needs and with virus around. Your American life is important as Chinese or German's life, but everybody needs some equipment. Let's share, let's work together rather than me first, me first, me first. This American first, it shows up that not just about job, it's also about his own needs. Me first, and I don't think it play really well in the world market at all. Okay, that's just my view. The other things is, the jobless figures really scares me in the US, and so many jobs has been lost. I just wonder how much the American government financial authority can keep on giving people money. And where are they going to put the money to? I mean, I don't know. People buy food, most likely. Food. Are they going to pay any debt? No. Are they going to pay any rent? Probably not. They're going to keep the food first. So as far as I'm concerned, because it's huge jobless figures, I think there's a lot more problems coming up in America and also in Europe as well. I mean, the lockdown is not just an American thing or Chinese things. It's around the world, and it's going to happens a lot more. And we just have to wait and see. So this is just a summary of what I saw so far. And this is just my take, okay, my from second quarter for this year. So first of all, obviously, the bear market we all know now is here. There's some probably bear market rebounds and stuff, but I think it's going to be here to stay at least this year, next year. I mean, normally when the bull markets last for 7-8 years, and then bear market lasts 12 to 18 months. But we have got a bull market that lasts 10, almost 11 years. So I expect the downtime probably a bit longer, so I'm expecting about maybe 2 years. So this year, next year, probably, quite bad, and it would be much bigger. I mean, look at the bailout. It used to be in billions. Yeah, news around the world reported, in billions, bailout, billions here, billions there. Now we talk about trillions. Only just the start. I think it'll be hundreds of trillions, and this time it's not just Americans, around the world now. It'll be a lot of debts, a lot of borrowing from around the world's financial regulator authorities to try to just, help his own country. So as far as I'm concerned, this bear market is here to stay. So what I said before about shorting the market, you should learn about, shorting the market as far as I'm concerned, and take this skill and make money out of it. Secondly, the oil, crude oil, which I said last time, is more, sideways because of the economic around the world. It's not good, especially with the trade war and everything else, and the world economy is slowing down anyway. But with the Saudis, kick in the teeth of, all countries, who needs oil, who export oil, not need oil. I think this basically just got to make the crude oil price have gone down a lot already, but still more like a sideways trade. So it's gone back down to between $20 to $30 range, maybe 35, but it's going to be sideways up and down here. I don't see much of an uptick. On that, there's some drastic action by OPEC and OPEC Plus and Plus American to drive the price up, but I don't see it go back to 40, 50s. I really don't. I think it's more stay around the 30 US dollars mark, that kind of thing. So low crude oil price is here to stay. The other thing is gold and silver, where I say will go up, but I don't know how much. But lately, because of the coronavirus, there's news that around the world, people, because of lockdown, they cannot go to work, and a lot of mines is shut down now. For health reason. So the physical delivery of gold and silver obviously hampered. But that I think applies to all mines. So all sort of mining activity have to stop because when you're inside a mine, you're very in close proximity to each other, very bad ventilation. You don't want to spread the disease, which is fair enough. But then, how long will it takes to ramp up those production again? I don't know. It would take probably months. So for the time being, I think gold and silver, even though has been up and down, I think probably there's a bottom there around. From what I see, is 1450 area. So long that it's not broken, I still think that there's still legs as far as I'm concerned, gold and silver. And plus, of course, there's bear market, which I already say about. Gold and silver should come up slowly, but I don't know how much. But I definitely stay for gold and silver. And the low demand, of course, due to the lockdown and the fallout of it, is just going to be takes some more time. And this going to basically, I don't know how it's going to play out. China slowly coming back up again, start working. But how much people is actually go back to the workforce, we don't know. The other problem is there's also reintroduction of the virus through returning citizens from outside country who are suffering from the disease, going back to China and to Hong Kong. So I think that's the kind of problem, not just for the Chinese or Asians, it's around the world. People coming back from whatever country they are from, or traveling, work, whatever, after lockdown, there probably may be a second wave of the disease coming up, and this is what worries me most. The black swan event. I mean, for me, who said that this virus it lasts 3-4 months? We basically based that on the SARS virus or the flu virus. But what happened, if something slightly different? Let's say it start longer, or perhaps the reintroduction of the virus back into each affected area who already have, control of the virus, like China, because people going back to work there. Remember, a lot of people may be carrying the symptoms and it's not really showing the symptoms, or let's say that everybody stay at home or stay right there for 6 months, maybe even a year. Okay, that might sort of stop it happening, but then what happened? What does that do to the world economy? I don't know. So as far as I'm concerned, this black swan event may be called legs, and maybe something else might crop up. I don't know. We just have to. I'm just worried about that one myself. Thirdly, I think the other thing we have seen so far is because people are locked down. What do? They stay at home. They buy and sell things at home. So eBay, those kind of stuff, Zoom conferencing, Netflix. My children watch a lot more. Netflix and stuff, and online shopping. So like I say, probably online gambling, online dating as well, conferencing, the Zoom calls, and of course the food delivery service. The Deliveroo in UK, and also a lot of company in food industry only do delivery now in UK. So that probably a benefit as well. So those ones definitely got some legs and continue to trade on that on. And the other thing is also, okay, it's not really for me to say I'm a trend follower, but for me really is, if you, because I try to marry some fundamental into that as well, I say now is the best time to actually watch some very strong company, the company that have very strong balance sheets. Now, especially the bear market is going to happen for the next, another year and a half or so. We got time to research big, strong company, how they cope. They probably come out in the news, and we can just take a bit on the balance sheet and how they come up with the reports of the financial report over the coming 6 months or 12 months or so. See those ones that's actually staying, have the staying power, have the enough resource to cope with this problem, because those are the one with the strong balance sheet that bounce first. So I'll marry this too. At the moment I'm watching some shares are with the strong balance sheets. They all gone down the tank just like everybody else. So as far as trend following concern is, short the bugger. But on the other hand, is get ready for this type of companies with strong balance sheets, have a good, people who needs the products. And then when the market turns, which inevitably will, maybe a year or two, maybe, it takes a bit long time to do this. But at least you can watch those and slowly see how they react, and use trend following to see when the uptakes it, and when it start uptakes, it will move. And not just because of the trend, but also because of the demand. And because also the strong balance sheets the company have got, fundamental behind it. So when they actually move up, I think be much stronger. And at least also long-lasting as well. So for those people who only use trend following on the buy side, now it's also time to do the research to watch out who is the next big mover, who is the big leader. No one knows, but only those one with the strongest balance sheet, with means will survive. Those ones survive probably go up first, and maybe those ones you should put in your portfolio for your pensions or long-term plan. And those are the time, this is the time to actually look at those, like food industry, Microsoft. Last time I talked about Delta Airline. Now suddenly we heard news that Warren Buffett is selling the Delta Airline stuff as well. I don't know why, but as far as I'm concerned, the same strategy apply. Those one with strong balance sheets and within will stay, and those one with the services that people really need will also stay as well. At the moment, it's being tanked. It's being kicked to the teeth. But all things being equal, the one with the deepest pocket, the one with the staying power, will survive, and picked up all the carcasses of those ones with the less capable companies, pick up the resources, and they will just fly. Okay, so remember Amazon? I mean, that's the case in points back in the dot-com bubble. It's just like blow, all into pieces. But it's still here. But remember lastminute.com is not here anymore. Tom.com in Hong Kong is gone. Who are the strongest staying power? The ones actually making money, able to support itself, and have good reserve, and also expand. Amazon expand, not just selling books anymore. It's into all sort of things. And who do you think a company who is selling books is in the cloud computing industry or streaming? That's the type of things that we look for. Once you have got a staying power and you do diverse and start, getting more multiple income stream, the company thrive and the stock will go up as well. So those are the time I think, this is now the time to actually think of those stuff and prepare yourself and see what happens. And that basically the other thing is the dollar index. I personally feel is tanking. All these trillions of dollars that's been pumped into the market by the U.S. Feds and U.S. government, and it's this only just the beginning. So the U.S. dollar index seems to have gone back up to 100 now, but I doubt how long it would last because there's a lot more money, U.S. dollars coming out, flooding the market, and this year's going to, cause us U.S. dollar purchasing power to come down, and down and down and down, and until one day it cannot pay its interest. So what happened to American dollars? It defaults. I hope it never happens, but if you keep on pumping U.S. dollars, keep on borrowing, your interest payment will kill you. This alone can kill the American dollar. And how long will it take? I don't know. God knows. But if this trillions of dollars printing still continuing, it will happen. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we haven't even talked about the baby boomers' needs for retirement. When they sell the stock market, when they need the $100 per week or whatever, $1,000 a month or whatever, basic that minimum they need, they're not going to listen to the stock market or government. They need the money. They need to survive. And the other one is, of course, when they get older, what happened? Healthcare. Those are big holes, two big holes. I don't know how the Americans going to solve it. I don't think they can solve it. I mean, what can they do? A lot more people is needing those problems, just like the virus. Okay, it was like SARS. Only a couple thousand people got it and died. Now we got millions of them, millions of people infected by the coronavirus. Okay, not as bad, death-wise, but it affects a lot more people. The world have to cope. It's difficult to cope. Just look at this in the sense of the baby boomers coming from around the world, especially in Europe and America. They all need the paycheck. They all need the little money, the pension money, and the health deteriorating. That is a big problem, but also big opportunities. Providing for the older people. That's a big industry. down payment has been talking about a long time. Healthcare, especially for the one who can afford it, you can make lots of money. But at the end of the day, there's also the problem here. We've seen it happens already now in this coronavirus. So many deaths. With so many people coming on age to become a older generation, old people kick the bucket, dying. Where are you going to bury all these people? I don't know. You go burn them all, or you go to give a little, box space to bury them. I don't know. This is a worldwide phenomenon. I don't know what will happen. But, if you think of that type of thinking, there's a lot more things going on here that needs dollars, and Americans just keep on printing some more dollars. The Americans, long-term, American dollars tanking. That's as far as I'm concerned. And leading on to that, people think, the bear market's happening here, everybody go to the bond market. But I think Americans playing the similar tricks here again. This brought to me by other people commenting. I read about it as well. Back in 2007, 2008, everybody got so scared of the, financial market instability, the bear market, every stuff. They go into the bond market. That means it enabled the American government to sell a lot more government bonds at very low interest payment. Okay, so the cost is very low and a lot more demand. Okay, and therefore it can basically use that to cover its own needs to pay internally or whatever type of things you need to do. But the cost of actually borrowing money is very low. This time round, well, the Chinese not coming to rescue. First of all, you piss them off with the trade. Secondly, they have their own problem. Their own economy is slowing down. Thirdly, they see how, the Americans, doing things with his own partners around the world. It really scares them. And the other thing is, this time the bond market is is much more diverse as far as I'm concerned. A lot of companies issue out bonds that now, because the lockdown, the company just couldn't manufacturing or produce a service or products to sell, and therefore able to service its debts. So what happens? A lot more implosion. A lot more defaults coming. And bond market is the biggest market in the world. I think even bigger than the financial market, the forex market. And what happened then? And this is just talking about U.S.-dominated bonds. What about around the world? This bond market thing is going to collapse, as far as I'm concerned. Not now. Probably in the next 6 months, 12 months time, as more and more companies around the world who issue U.S. dollars domain debts and couldn't service it, it would just keep on collapsing and collapsing and collapsing and snowballing. And pension funds got to get hurt because pension buying the bonds because of this, good stable interest payment. But I just wonder how the bond market will turn out. So that's another problem. That to me is not a black swan. To me, it's a great one. If me can see this coming, I'm sure American government can see it coming, and maybe around the world the financial regulators see that coming too. That's why asking the bank, to be have more reserve just to cope with this kind of thing, because you might have to take quite a bit of haircut because banks now interlocking each other, buying each other debts, and the European banks need to have more reserve just to cover this as well. So that could be it. And this is why I say early on, it's a bit fishy when the UK and Europe financial regulator telling banks not to pay with dividends and stuff. So this is basically my 2 cents worth, my for Q1 review, and looking into Q2. And next will be my usual sample portfolio update. So I'll speak to you soon. Okay, first off the bat is Apple. Short term is a sell, medium term is neutral, long term is a sell. Amazon, short term is a buy, medium term is neutral, long term is neutral. So same as last week. Aussie dollar against US dollar is short term is a buy, short and medium term is a sell. Brent crude, short term is a buy, long term is a sell, short term is a sell. Crude oil, short term is a buy, medium term is a sell, long term is a sell. So the recent ups of the crude oil last Friday and Thursday basically pushed the short-term system, my short-term system up. And I don't know how long it lasts because at the moment it's just talking from Donald Trump. If there's no cut from America, I don't think Saudi Arabia is going to do anything. So we just have to see. After that, next is DAX. Short term is a buy, long term is a sell, medium term is a sell. Dow Jones, long term is a buy. Short term is a buy, long term and short term is a sell. FTSE, same as last week, all this short term is a buy, long term, medium term is a sell. Gold, short term is a buy, medium term is neutral, long term is a buy also. Hang Seng, short term is a buy, short and medium term is a sell. Nasdaq, medium term is a buy, short term is a buy, medium term is neutral, long term is a sell. Nikkei, short term now changed from last week from buy to sell, and medium term is a sell, long term is a sell. So I think this one is changed over because I think the yen is slightly strengthening again. Silver, short term is a buy, long term is a sell, medium term is a sell. US dollar against the Chinese yuan is a buy across the board. So short term is a buy, long term is a buy, medium term is a buy. So that basically means, as far as I'm concerned at the moment, the yuan is weakening against the US dollar. But how long will it last with the American keep on printing money? The Chinese yuan probably will strengthen, but just have to wait and see. Next is US dollar against Japanese yen. So like I said before, similar to Nikkei, short term is a sell, medium term is neutral, long term is also neutral now as well. Next, after that is British pound against Japanese yen. Short term is a buy, medium and long term is a sell. British pound against US dollar. Short term is a buy, long and medium term is a sell. Bitcoin is still a buy in short term, neutral, medium term, and long term is a sell. TLT, long term is a buy, medium term is neutral, short term is a buy. So there's not much change this week except a couple of sells become a buy, so short term wise. So I do expect the market maybe going to be sideways now, just very much like somebody fall off a window from a tall building. I don't expect them to actually start walking and then jump up and down doing his normal stuff. So probably a bit of a bounce in the market for the next couple of weeks, maybe months. But then who knows what happens? I think the economy comes in. Hopefully by then the peak of the death caused by coronavirus have peaked in America as well as around the world, and slowly things coming back into play. But we just have to wait and see, because I do think first 6 months probably shut down more or less in 2020, and then the next 6 months is slowly things ramping up. But then we found a lot of things are not in supply because first 6 months around the world many people is in lockdown. Production is slow, and there may not be, there probably businesses all running around, but a lot of small one probably couldn't stand it because nobody has so much, not many people have much money reserved to keep having people on the payroll. The government may try or promise the earth, but how much can they actually produce and how fast is crucial for especially a small company who run on the shoestring. They just cannot keep on having people on the books, have to pay the rent, have to pay other bills, and then the governments give you help, and then the help actually takes 6 months to materialize, and then every time of it, every step is scrutinized. That's not going to happen. I hope none of that happens. I hope the world just do a V-shaped bounce. But from what we see in 2008, it won't be a V-shape. It will be a slow ground to the halt, and then slowly climb back up again. So we're still coming down at the moment. As far as I'm concerned, the market is not finished. This down market is not finished, and there's a lot more worse to come, especially the bond market. So we just wait and see. So that's the end of this week's podcast. Sorry, on midweek there's no podcast last week. just been busy. So hopefully I'll be back to normal schedule next week, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.